Hello to all you lovers out there. Juan Gee here with another episode of Ask Juan Gee. I'm Juan.
And I'm G.
And before we get into this week's question, I want to ask you a question. Now, I know this already, but I want you to share it with...
You put me on the spot?
Yeah. What's your love language?
Oh, you know my love language.
I said I know this already, but I want you to share it with them.
My love language is words of affirmation.
And what's your second? Because you know we kind of teeter-totter between two main love languages.
My second one is quality time.
Quality time.
Quality time.
Quality time. And so my primary love language is physical touch or intimacy. You know, some people call them different things.
You know what? That's not the last time we talked about love language. That was not your love language.
What was my love language?
Tell me what your second one is.
my second, you know, I don't really know. I guess if I had to do a hierarchy, it would have to be.
All this time I've been communicating to him in a completely different love language.
Well, my second love language would perhaps be quality time. If I had to hire, but it really is the intimacy.
So intimacy, though, for you, because we talked about this before, intimacy can be, you know, a lot of different things. But you said physical touch is your number one. And that's how you receive intimacy, is through physical touch.
Yes.
Then.
And that's how I give intimacy as well.
Right.
So I bring all that up because I recently wrote a little post. And it centered around communication, the 5 love languages, how to effectively communicate your love languages and receive your partner's love language so that you can begin to love each other in a way that you both can be fulfilled. Right. You know, and it's about having those conversations. So I would offer to everybody out there listening to figure out, just Google it, the 5 love languages. They'll come up and find out which ones really resonate with you the most, giving and receiving love. Talk to your partner about it, and then that way you can begin to work towards a happy, healthier relationship.
Yeah, because a lot of times we think we showing love to our boo, and our boo is not picking up what you putting down. Like if Juan's is physical touch and he's, you know, touching me all the time, but that's not how I receive love, and I need you to tell me I love you, you're beautiful, you're this, that. And I'm not really receiving it. So he could be holding resentment because he don't feel like he's receiving love. So it's very important to figure each other out. And that way, when you figure out what he likes, you can try to be conscious of giving him that and vice versa. You guys can start communicating better. Well, let's get into this week's question.
It's a long one.
It's a long one. But I like it. So just give us a little time here. Hi, Juan Gee.
Hey.
I would like to first start off with gratitude towards you all for creating a space and utilizing your platform responsibly to expose and confront issues concerning gay men, and particularly gay men of color. You're very welcome. We are very, very passionate about who we are, and that's our community. So you're welcome.
And I know it's long, but can you slow down a little bit because I haven't really read this fully, so I'm listening now.
Okay. I'll try not to be lengthy. You failed. But it's true. I mean, the more information, the better. You know, we're always asking, like, can you give me more questions?
Yeah, that's true.
So I like lengthy posts, and I like because I can pick up a lot from it. And he even says, but I feel the more transparent I am, the better you both can possibly help. So I dated this guy for about 2.5 months with the intention of getting to know him for a decent length of time before becoming romantic and even sexual. However, my intentions failed because we went too fast unconsciously. We spent pretty much every other weekend with each other, and our constant communication with each other was consistent mutually. I noticed things beginning to change, and I felt he didn't want to say so. So I asked him, did he want to just be friends, in parentheses, non-sexual, because I felt his communication was dwindling. He informed me that he wasn't ready to be in a relationship, and I asked him, would he choose me once he decides that he wants to be in a relationship, and he stated no. Ooh, you gotta love him for his honesty.
Yeah.
I asked him why, and he said because I was too clingy. From my experience of things, I believe he came to that conclusion when he went back home one weekend from visiting family in West Tennessee, which he attempts to do bi-weekly if he's not with me, because they're just 2 hours away from him. So I see that one thing I point out here that I just want to point out is that I see that this is what you've already created a routine in your head. You guys have been together for 2.5 months, which is 10 weeks, and bi-weekly he usually goes. So it's like you guys have just gotten together. You guys are still getting to know each other. So you guys haven't created a routine of him bi-weekly spending it with me. You haven't been together long enough, I think. And I think that's a part of where I'm going with this question. With the answer to this. So he says he tried to do it bi-weekly when he's not with me because they're just 2 hours away. Every time he's visiting, we don't talk as frequently as I would like. And I understand he couldn't talk to me around his family because his dad is a pastor and mom is a first lady.
So he's in the closet.
So he's pretty much in the closet. And I'll be honest, I would like to have more texts and calls from him instead of talking just once the entire weekend for only 2 minutes. I addressed my concern about it, but he gave me the space to feel comfortable about addressing things. Because he gave me the space to be comfortable about addressing things that bothered me in the past, I reluctantly addressed, this is a little bit of a, let me see. I addressed my concern about it because he gave me the space to feel comfortable about addressing things that bother me. Because in the past, I reluctantly addressed what would be on my heart out of fear that the courtship or relationship would end. Little did I know, the situation we were in ended anyway. So my question is, was I too clingy? Is it possible for him and I to have two perspectives on clinginess? Is there something that I've done that I'm not aware of? Is there an opportunity that I missed? Please help. That's a whole lot.
That's a whole lot.
It's gonna be a long video.
That's a whole lot. So repeat the questions again. Am I too clingy?
So, and actually I think the 1, 2, 3. The questions that you want the answers to are very easy to me, but that's not the advice that I have to give. So the first question is, was I too clingy for him?
Yes, he told you that.
Okay. Is it possible for him and I to have two perspectives on clinginess?
Absolutely.
Is there something that I've done that I'm not aware of?
From his perspective, yes, you were too clingy. You weren't too clingy for you, you were too clingy for him. Now you're aware of it.
Right, so it's nothing that you're not aware of. He told you. Is there a learning opportunity that I missed?
Absolutely.
Yes, and here's where it's going to go.
Okay. So I think that number one, the 2.5 months, I think going into relationships with these notions, these rules, all of this shit we go through in our head, it just sets you up for failure.
Mm-hmm.
It sets you up for failure. So my advice or my offering is to go at it with a clean slate, clean mind, no expectations. Let it flow.
Right.
Let your heart lead while your mind is, taking stock of everything. You're not being foolish, but you just let it flow. If you have sex on the first night, awesome. If you have sex 2.5 months down the road, awesome. You know what I'm saying? But holding yourself to these standards, I think it's just a recipe for disaster.
Although we did the same thing.
And I think if I had to do anything over, I wouldn't go into it with those ideals. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I agree. And if anything, I think that, at least for me, I think that might have even caused some issues within our relationship for me. But that's neither here nor there. Mm-hmm. But as Juan said, when people always say, "Oh, we're moving too fast," what the fuck is too fast?
Right.
You ain't moving too fast. Both of you are moving at a pace that you want to move. It's going great. Let's continue to do it. It feels good. Yada yada yada. But keep in mind, it was only 2.5 months. You guys still don't even know who this guy is.
Yeah.
It takes, what you know of him so far, but it takes time to get to know people. So after 2.5 months, if you guys did, do things which you consider too fast in a relationship, then that's what happened, and that does not mean it's supposed to last forever. I mean, you can say within the 2.5 months, oh, this is great, I really want to see where this goes, yada yada yada, but after 2.5 months, he discovered, hey, this guy is just a little bit too clingy for me. And I don't think you can go in your head over and over again about, oh my God, what did I do? Was it that time we was in the weekend? Should I have texted him too much? It doesn't matter what the reason was. You did how you felt what you want to do, and it's not wrong.
Right.
I mean, if you want to talk to him, text him while he's gone. I don't think there's a problem with that, but that's not where he is, and it could be for now, granted, him saying you're too clingy could be an excuse, and he might be lying about why he really don't want to be with you. But guess what? It doesn't matter.
That's his prerogative.
It doesn't matter.
When you realize that something was off, that was the end right there, because your body, your mind was telling you, red flag. Mm-hmm. He's not treating me the same way. He's changing. So trust that and know that it was all right. You acted the way you act. You shouldn't change yourself because one person didn't receive how you choose to be in a relationship.
Right.
So the clinginess, I mean, and that's subjective anyway. Like, what does clingy mean? Like, when we got together, we were together every day. So when you said every other weekend, I was like, oh, that's clingy?
Yeah.
Okay, but regardless of how we define it, if you don't define that as clingy, it's not clingy. And so trust yourself and your actions and how you want to be in a relationship.
Yeah, don't make that make you feel insecure, because not everybody is going to be for you. Mm-hmm. Everybody you like is not going to like you, and vice versa. And if you put things in perspective, it's 2.5 months out of your life. That's all it is, 2.5 months out of your life. That's what dating is.
Well, and it was a great lesson that you learned.
It was a great lesson, and don't discount the connection you guys had. You guys had a great time. Mm-hmm. I'm sure you've learned some things. You've come out of this and now you're picking up, these type of things. Like, it's okay. It's okay. I mean, the way you kind of wrote and put so many exclamation points and stuff, I feel like you was really stressing over it. And I just want you to feel like it's okay. Give yourself a hug. Love yourself. You're not too clingy. Never think you're too clingy. There ain't nothing. There's no such thing as too clingy. Too clingy for somebody, maybe. And I always seem to think if I'm, really feeling a person, hey, that person can't be too clingy.
Yeah.
And that's how and that's one thing too. Like, you can't be too clingy. I mean, he's clingy because he loves me so much, and shit, I would love it, so.
Well, now sometimes you're like, okay, now look, I need to breathe a little bit, but it shouldn't be after 2.5 months.
And that is not,
that's
it's also
my opinion.
And it's also not in a way where he's distancing himself.
Yeah.
You could be too, physically clingy, like, all right, boo, now let me do whatever. Mm-hmm. But this clinginess wasn't even about physical. It was about him, you texting and wanting just to hear from you from the weekend.
I will say, though, it is a little weird that you already had his schedule down. You was already, on, every other week he goes here, this is family, da-da-da-da-da, so it did seem a little excessive, and I would say that it seems, based on this, a little obsessive, especially if the other dude, if I don't know how you read him and his actions and stuff, but was he giving you back that
here's what I think.
Your schedule and shit, because that could be a turn off as well.
Yeah, but if you guys if they were mutual, because in the beginning it was mutual, but he just stopped feeling you. That's it, and that's what happened here. You guys he both made a decision to spend every weekend together, do this together. Now he probably feeling a little locked in, and now I'm ready for a relationship, and all these different things. But it's just a matter of, as it went by, he's not feeling you as much. He's just not that into you.
Yeah.
And really, I really just think that's what it is. He's just not that into you.
Yeah. I hope you found somebody else.
Yeah, I mean, there'll be some single guys in Puerto Rico. Memorial Weekend, escapepr.com. Go to escapepr.com. Check out the vacation that we're having down Memorial Day weekend with some great partners. It's going to be a great event. But really, I hope that answered your question. Love yourself.
You can be clingy all you want in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Puerto Rico.
Yeah. And then, I'm leaving you with this last thing. Don't think there's something wrong with you and that's why this guy don't like you. You are who you are, and that's it. So we're not gonna like everybody. So, hey, I hope that helps. Please keep asking. Ask
at juangee.com. That's ASK at juangee.com. Peace. Love you all.
No.